fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
I kill for silence. Not the kind you find in a snow-draped forest at midnight, where the world holds its breath beneath frost-laced pines. Not the kind that settles in an abandoned chapel after the last echo of a funeral bell has faded. No, I kill for the silence that follows a heart's last beat. The hollow, trembling void where a life used to thump, where the air still smells of iron and sweat and the faint, sweet rot of fear. My name is Veyla of the Shattered Veil. Once they called me the whisper of the Thorned Crown, now they just pay. 10 pieces of gold, that's my rate. No negotiation, no exceptions, dead within 48 hours. Not maimed, not broken, not taken. Dead, clean, quiet, professional. I live in the upper spires of the obsidian quarter, where the wind howls between gargoyle-peppered towers like a chorus of forgotten gods. My apartment is a tomb of polished obsidian, velvet curtains that swallow light, and a single oil lamp that flickers like a dying breath. I keep no portraits, no mementos, only my knives, 7 of them, each named after a woman I failed to save. The bell rang at noon. It was not the knock of a patron, not the thud of a guild enforcer, not the skitter of rats fleeing the coming storm. It was the small, uncertain tap-tap-tap of a child's knuckle. I didn't move, didn't breathe, I simply waited. 3 more taps. And then a voice, small, clear, like glass struck by a silver spoon. Are you the one who kills people? I stood slowly. The scent of lavender soap still clung to my skin from my morning bath. I wore black silk, unbuttoned at the collar, my hair falling in loose, ink-black waves over one shoulder. My boots were silent as smoke. I did not arm myself, not yet. I opened the door. She stood on the landing, swaying slightly in the draft that slipped between the cracked stone tiles. No taller than my knee, barefoot, her dress, a faded violet thing, stitched with thread too thin to hold the weight of winter, hung off one shoulder. A single frayed ribbon, once red, now gray as ash, tied the front. Her face was all sharp angles, high cheekbones, a nose too small for her head, eyes the color of storm-washed slate. She held a cloth bundle in her arms. It's what I noticed first, the way her fingers trembled, not from cold, but from grief, the kind you carry in your bones. Who sent you? I asked. She blinked once, twice, then no one, I came myself. I stepped back, gesturing her inside. She didn't move at first. Then, like a startled deer, she stepped forward small steps, deliberate, as if the floor might swallow her whole. I closed the door. The air in the room changed. The lamp flame guttered. The silence became heavier, thicker. She sat on the edge of my cushioned chaise, back straight, hands clasped in her lap. Not afraid, not defiant, resigned. You want to kill, I said. She nodded, yes. How old are you? 9. I laughed. It was ugly, dry, I didn't mean to. But the absurdity of it, the sheer grotesque poetry, cracked something open inside me. You think I'm a monster for taking coin to kill? I asked. She looked up, her eyes didn't waver. You're the best, everyone says so. And you think money can buy justice? No, she whispered, but I think it can buy peace. I walked to the wine cabinet, pulled out a bottle of Illyrian red, aged 20 years, viscous as blood. I poured 2 glasses, set one before her. She didn't touch it. Tell me, I said, who did you want dead? Her fingers picked at the hem of her dress. My father. I froze, not from shock, from recognition. The tremor in her voice, the way her breath hitched just before she spoke his name. I'd heard that tone before, in the dying breaths of men who loved too hard and then loved too violently. Why? I asked. She looked out the window. The city below glittered like a corpse studded with jewels. He killed my mother, she said, voice brittle. He said she was a witch, that she cursed him with her blood. He drank until he forgot her face, then he burned her anyway. A long silence. Outside, a crow called a single mournful note. And you, I asked softly, do you think she was a witch? She turned to me then. Her eyes were full of tears, but they didn't fall. I think she was the only person who ever loved me. I sat across from her. The wine sat untouched. The lamp flickered again. You have 10 gold pieces, I said. She nodded, unwound the cloth bundle. Inside, 10 coins, heavy, real, each stamped with the seal of the old queen's mint, cold, ancient, worth more than most men's lives. She pressed them into my palm. I didn't count them, I already knew. My fingers closed around them. The metal was warm from her skin. I can't do it, I said. She flinched. Why? Because, I whispered, if I kill your father, I'll have to become what he is. She stared at me, then quietly, but you already are. I didn't answer. The next 24 hours passed like smoke. I tracked him. Kalen Vire, former royal executioner, now a drunken lord in the lower city, holed up in a crumbling manor that reeked of burnt honey and old piss. He'd been retired after the witch purges, the same ones that claimed my mother, though no one spoke of that. He'd had his name scrubbed from records, his face lost in wine and shadow. He had 3 guards, 2 swordsmen, 1 Vargarian hound with eyes like wet coal. He slept in a room lined with tapestries, each one depicting a woman in flames. I watched him drink from a silver chalice at midnight. He wept as he drank. Not for his victims. For her. I saw it in the way his hand trembled over the glass, the way he murmured her name, Ilara, like a prayer he'd forgotten how to finish. I stood on the roof, cloaked in shadow, the wind tearing at my cloak like a living thing. I had 2 knives out, one for the guards, one for him. I could be in and out before sunrise, no trace, no mess, just 10 gold pieces and another soul silenced. But the girl's face haunted me. I think she was the only person who ever loved me. I remembered my mother's hands, gentle, ink-stained, the scent of rosemary and lavender always clinging to her sleeves, the way she'd sing to me even when the soldiers came. She died screaming my name. I didn't cry. Not then. Not for years. Until today. I returned to my apartment at dawn. She was still there. Asleep on the chaise, still in the same dress, still barefoot, her hair fanned out like spilled ink across the velvet. She looked smaller than before, frailer. I didn't wake her. I sat on the floor beside her, watched her breathe. Her eyelashes twitched, she stirred. Are you going to do it? She whispered, still closed-eyed. I don't know, I said. She opened her eyes, looked up at me. Do you believe in magic? She asked. I didn't answer. I do, she said. My mother used to say, if you touch someone's soul with your hands, you can hear their memories, like echoes in water. I swallowed. That's not magic, that's grief. She sat up, reached for my hand. I didn't pull away. Her fingers were cold, tiny, so small against mine. Then let me show you, she said. Before I could speak, she pressed her palm flat against my chest. Right over my heart. I gasped. It wasn't pain. It was remembering. Fire, melting wax from a candle, flickering over a woman's face, her lips moving, whispering words I didn't understand. A lullaby sung in a language older than stone. A child curled against her breast, me, my eyes wide with wonder, her voice, my little shadow, you will learn to kill but never to hate, never to forget. Then the boots, heavy, loud, the crack of a whip, witch, a man's voice thick with wine, you cursed me, you gave me this. I was watching from the crack under the floorboards. I was 5, I was screaming. I couldn't make a sound. I jerked back as if burned. Her hand fell away. Tears were streaming down my face. I hadn't cried since I was 5. Did you, my voice cracked, did you feel that? She nodded, she loved you. My hands shook, how? I didn't know you were her daughter, she said quietly, but I've been looking for you since I was 7. My father, he said you were dead, that you died with her. I didn't know what to say. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a small, folded parchment. I found this in his study, she said. It's yours. I took it, unfolded it. My mother's handwriting. To whoever finds this. If you are reading this, then Veyla lives, and if she lives, then she is not yet broken. If you are the girl who hired her, know this. The same blood runs in both your veins, the same silence, the same pain. She does not kill for coin, she kills for peace. So you must choose not whether to kill him, but whether to make her choose. I didn't kill Kaelin Vire. Instead, I took the girl. I wrapped her in my cloak, slipped her beneath my arm like I was carrying a secret. We left the city at dusk. No one saw us go. We rode a stolen carriage hired with half the gold. The other half I left on his pillow, with a note. You took her mother. Now you will lose everything. The next morning they found him awake, not dead, not injured, but broken. He was staring at the ceiling, weeping. The tapestries were gone. Every single one. Burned. And in the center of the floor, a single red ribbon, tied in the shape of a heart. We are in the hills now. Forest stone quiet. She sleeps beside me in the back of the wagon, wrapped in wool, my coat. I keep the knives close, but I don't sleep with them anymore. She talks in her sleep now. Calls me Mama. I don't correct her. I should. She's not mine. And yet, I roll onto my side when she shifts. Her hand finds mine in the dark. Her fingers lace through mine like they've always known how. I close my eyes, and for the first time in 27 years, I breathe, not as a killer, not as a ghost, but as a woman who remembers being loved. Tomorrow we go to the Vale of Hollow Roses. They say the last of the old magic still blooms there. They say if you whisper a name into the petals and mine it, the dead will answer. I don't know if it's true, but I'm going to find out. Because I have a daughter now, and I'm going to teach her to sing, not to kill. I'll start with the lullaby, the one my mother sang. And if I'm lucky, she'll sing it back to me. And if Kaelin Vire still lives, well, he'll find out what happens when the killer chooses not to kill. And the child who hired her becomes her rebirth. I don't know if I'll survive this, but I won't die alone. Not this time.